Hey there! In this video, I'm showing you how to paint 2 easy watercolor bookmarks. These step-by-step watercolor tutorials are perfect for beginners. So take out your art supplies and let's get started. All of the art supplies that I'm using are linked in the description box below. To start off, take out your large flat brush and load it up with some yellow pigment. I'm using new Gamboge. Use the wet on dry technique and apply that pigment on the lower half of the bookmark. Rinse off your brush and then switch to a red pigment. I'm using permanent red. Apply the red pigment in the middle of the bookmark and then blend it downwards into the yellow pigment to start creating a nice orange blend. Next, you're going to switch to the purple pigment and you're going to apply it at the very top of your bookmark. I'm using bright purple. Blend the purple down into the red to start creating a nice violet-red color blend. While the paper is still wet, you're going to come in with more pigment to build up the vibrancy of the colors. In the paint to water ratio, you can use a little more pigment this time than water. Blend the yellow into the red pigment. Then, switch to the red pigment and you're going to blend the red down into the yellow. You're going to do the same thing at the top of the bookmark by using more purple pigment and then blending it down into the red. Use steady, even brush strokes to get the best seamless blend. You want to create a very smooth, variegated wash with beautiful, smooth transitions. One of the best ways to blend the pigment is to use steady brush strokes, going from left to right and right to left, working your way slowly up the bookmark and down the bookmark. This creates a really seamless color blend. When you're happy with the first layer, let it dry. After the layer has dried, load up your flat brush with some more yellow pigment. Apply it at the very bottom of the bookmark and work your way up the bookmark. So you're blending the yellow out into the middle of the bookmark using the wet on dry technique again. To build up the vibrancy of the pigments, you're going to add some more red. Blend the red down into the yellow to create some really nice orange color blends. Working your way to the top of the bookmark, you're going to blend both the red and the purple once again. If you're enjoying this video, give it a like. Thank you for your support. When you're happy with this layer, let it dry. Now, take out a fine liner or a brush pen. In this tutorial, I'm using a 0.5 fine liner. Now, you're going to start off by drawing a long stem. It should be slightly curved and bent to one side. Draw 2 small petals at the very top of the stem. You're going to repeat this pattern all the way down the stem. So you're going to start by drawing a very small stem coming out of the big one in the middle. Then, at the end of these little stems, you're going to add 2 small petals. You're going to work your way down the big stem in the middle, and you're going to alternate these petals on either side of the central stem. The balance looks aesthetically pleasing on the eyes, and it will make your composition look more harmonious. You want this floral design to look very curved, so make sure that every stem has a slight bend to it. After you're done drawing the petals, you're going to draw something that looks like little berries. Draw some more stems in between the petals, and then at the very end, you're going to make a little dark circle. That dark circle is the berry. I've placed mine in between the petals and they're rather even. This symmetry looks really beautiful and it's pleasing on the eyes, but you're free to add more petals or more berries wherever you'd like in your own painting. When you get to the bottom of the stem, make it a little bit thicker and darker to show some visual weight. When you're done, peel off the tape, and there you go. You've created your first watercolor bookmark. Congratulations! Let's move on to the second bookmark. For this bookmark, you're going to use a large round brush. I'm using a size 12 round brush. So take out your brush and then load it up with some yellow pigment. Use the wet on dry technique to randomly apply that pigment all over the bookmark. Leave some white spaces. Then you're going to rinse off the brush and load it up with a green pigment. I'm using phthalo green blue. Apply the green pigment randomly all over the paper. You're going to fill in the white spots, but you're also going to blend the green into the yellow pigment to create some really nice yellow-green color blends. Rinse off your brush one more time, and you're going to load it up with a blue pigment. I'm using marine blue. Fill in the remaining white spots with the blue pigment. What you're going to do then is blend that blue pigment into the yellow and into the green pigments that are already on your paper. Because the pigments are still wet, you're going to be able to create some really lovely color blends. The goal of this layer is to create a background that looks super spontaneous and unpredictable. Essentially, you want to create wild color blends. These color blends are blooming and bleeding into one another. They're creating some really crazy, fun textures. Now, load up your brush again with the yellow pigment and apply some more onto the paper to build up the vibrancy. You're going to repeat this step with the green and blue pigments. When you're happy with the result, let it dry. After the layer has dried, you're going to come in with one more layer to build up the vibrancy of those pigments. So load up your round brush with the yellow pigment and add it onto the bookmark. You should add it in the places where you originally added the yellow pigment in the first layer, but also add the yellow pigment over the blue pigment. That way, both layers will blend together and you'll get some really nice green color blends. Do the same thing with the blue and the green pigments. As you can see, there are some hard lines on my bookmark. I left some of them there so that I could create harder textures in the background, but in other areas I used some water to blend them out to create very soft textures. In your bookmark, I encourage you to create some really dynamic textures by having both hard lines and soft color bleeds to create a dynamic background. So now your background should look very smoky or cloudy. It should look very textured and very vibrant. When you're happy with the results, let the layer dry. Now take out a fine liner. I'm using a 0.5 fine liner. What you're going to do is draw a long, slim S-curve down the middle of the paper. This represents the stem. Then, at the very top, you're going to use two elongated C-curves to create the leaf. As you work your way down the stem, you're going to create smaller stems for each leaf. So draw a slightly bended line, and then around that line, use the two C-curves to draw the shape of the leaves. In my bookmark, I'm alternating from left to right. That way, the composition looks very balanced and symmetrical. When you get to the bottom of the stem, thicken it so that there's more visual weight at the bottom. Then, we're going to add a few details. come in with the very tip of your fine liner and darken the spaces at the base of the leaves. That way the leaves look like they have a little more visual weight. After that's done, you could come in and darken parts of the stem. I'm darkening the stem in the middle where it connects to the stems on either side. At these intersection points, the darkness looks very stylistic and it implies that there's more visual weight in that area where the lines are connecting. When you're done, carefully peel off each piece of tape. And voila, you've completed your second bookmark. If you enjoyed today's tutorial, then make sure you click into this next tutorial because it is super fun and easy. So I will see you in the next video.